A Returning Face, written by the Sodor crew. The mainland was limited with their shunters, so they decided to get a cheap one. With that being said, the diesel that they purchased was one to leave a mark on the island of Sodor. However, when he did come back on the Northwestern Railway, he went on Thomas's branch line, and that went pretty well. Diesel used to work on British railways, but now he was happy to work on a different one, and now not being an occasional shunter. But Diesel wasn't the only shunter to be brought on the mainland. They needed another one. Duck was the other engine that was going to work on the mainland. And even if Duck had plenty of work to do and enjoyed doing it, he was still interested in doing the work over the mainland. After all, it had been a few years since he did the shunting work. Something Duck didn't know was who he was going to work with, but if he knew, he wouldn't have done the job. As Duck was going along the line, he was approaching the big station of the mainland and its yards. Then he saw something and he quickly put the brakes on, and with that, he stopped. "Duck!" the driver yelled. "What's wrong?" Duck just stared at what was in front of him, and he couldn't believe his eyes. "But how?" he said to himself. "I thought he got scrapped after he had left Thomas's branch line." Duck's driver stared in the distance and saw what Duck was looking at. "Oh dear," the driver told himself. "This might not be enjoyable for Duck after all." As Duck was shunting in the yards, Diesel had still not seen Duck, or knew he was the engine working for the yards. At one point, Diesel found that the work was getting overloaded, so he decided to search for what the other engine was supposed to be. After minutes of searching for who it was supposed to be, Diesel went back to work properly. Duck, meanwhile, had no idea what to do if Diesel ever saw him. "I can't keep doing this for long," he said. "Diesel will be angry that not much work will be made." At some point, Duck forgot about the Diesel and focused on the shunting job. It turned out he loved doing his work, as it felt just like the old times, exactly how he imagined it. The Diesels of the mainland thought that Duck's method of pushing freight cars was a good one, as well as dealing with coaches. They gave him courage and kind remarks. Even engines who didn't have their trains shunted by Duck gave compliments. They would always leave with a smile and a happy day. Duck had completely forgotten about Diesel until the worst happened. "Well, hello, Duck," Diesel said with a smile. "Oh, goodness," Duck replied in shock. "No worries. I'm not mad, but I think we should change. At least acquaintances, don't you think?" Duck did not respond. He just remembered about the time Diesel was sent away because of him. Diesel said other few things, and Duck was speechless through the whole conversation. After his interaction, he tried to understand how Diesel could have changed if he was around other Diesels over the mainland. He tried to think of anything, but he didn't think that Diesel could have been convinced easily. But all the thinking made Duck bump into the trucks around. Ow! Ooh! They shouted. Pardon me, it was an accident, he replied to them. So it was lucky that Duck left soon after. When Duck arrived back, he appreciated the countryside and its peace. He loved being on Sodor and missed the old place. Later on, he arrived at Tinmouth Station, as he then saw Thomas. Hey, you're back. How was it over there, And then Duck then talked about how it was, and Diesel. Well, Duck, Thomas replied, the reason why he's nice now was because he came over here on my branch line and he learned his lesson. Simple. You alright, Duck? Thomas questioned, looking at Duck, who didn't say anything. As Thomas then ran off laughing. Ha 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 ha. I'm off. Bye bye. And Thomas, laughing, whistled away.